Under interesting facts, just says had a severe speech impediment.
Very inclusive. I love it.
Moses did? I swear to God.
Don't we all?
Oh my God. Says was allowed to see. But
that was WWE punch right there. I got as close as possible. I touched his glasses with that.
That was pretty professional. Professional stuntman.
Said this man had a speech impediment.
Who did? Moses?
Yeah.
Moses said.
Damn, so that's probably why they heard the commandments and were like, dude, I don't want to fucking what?
I will cheat on my wife. I will still.
I came hung out with you,
Lola.
lovely people.
Hey, Lola.
Mike, let her get comfy.
Look at this. Look at this perfect. Just, I need to reach this level of comfort in my life.
She's outrageous.
She's a seal. Big seal.
You got no personal boundaries at all, girl.
One, stay out of my personal. Oh, I'm not actually. Maybe we shouldn't quote Justin Roiland.
Why not?
You don't hear what happened with him
Again?
What did you do?
I didn't read anything about it.
I didn't either.
Oh, this time there's a jail and shit involved.
Like a case pending, or he's been there already?
So say you're married, and then you allegedly beat the shit out of your wife.
Well, yeah, you can't really do that.
I could never imagine me doing something like that, personally.
I mean, ditto. I mean, I could, but I wouldn't do it. I could imagine it. I could want to, and and then not do it.
The mind is a powerful thing.
Did he beat the shit, or is it like a Dana White where he just like slapped her?
Yeah.
Well, Dana White was defending himself.
I don't know.
Oh, was he? I honestly didn't know the full story.
The first punch, he was defending himself. After that, it got a little bit out of hand.
Yeah.
I know enough about it.
I didn't watch the video. I did not watch the video.
We believe all victims.
It was fucked up, but
I didn't watch that video because of the same reason that I don't watch women's MMA. I don't like seeing women get beaten.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just not cool.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, see, that's a woman right there. She felt me. She felt
Got
me.
those baby lungs.
Like $1 Million Baby.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
You never seen that movie?
Never seen it. No.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Y'all never seen $1 Million Baby?
I've seen it.
I know what it is, but I've never saw it.
It's not good.
I ain't missing anything.
No, fuck no.
$1 Million Baby is one of the greatest boxing movies.
Sure.
Better than Ali with
Yes.
Will Smith.
Yes.
It's a terrible movie.
It's not better than Southpaw. All right, yeah, the way that she dies or whatever.
Yeah, it's like
It's fucking stupid. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that.
That's the dumbest shit I've seen.
I can't. Movies like that.
I know that scene, but yeah.
Movies like that, they just don't do it.
That stool came out of nowhere.
You've seen, what is this scary movie 4?
Yeah.
She's in the thing. It's just like mid-fall, the person just sticks it out.
Dude, that's the greatest. That's one of my favorite movies.
I can't watch $1 Million Baby because of that scene.
Yeah, don't they do that shit in Family Guy too? Probably. I'm pretty sure there's a scene.
Oh yeah, Lois
starts boxing and then
yeah. Let's say, what haven't they done?
Once something is spoofed well enough, you can't watch the original.
No, I feel you on that. Honestly, yeah. It's funny though. I feel the opposite way about like samples in music. Like if I hear a sample used like a really good way, and then I go back and like either re-listen to the original or like discover the original for the first time. Yeah, facts.
Yep. You hear the old version, it's like, man, because like rest in peace to Kanye, but that Lenny Williams, girl, you know I love you. I gotta go throw on that. Play something these hoes alive.
Superstar.
Wendy Williams.
Wendy? No.
Wendy Williams?
No, not Wendy Williams.
I said Lenny, my nigga.
What did you say?
Lenny.
Lenny.
Okay.
You thought Kanye sampled Wendy Williams?
I don't know what she did before a talk show.
Honestly, I don't even.
You know what? That's a good ass point. That's a good ass point. What did she do before? Why did she come from? Damn. I never thought about that. The fuck did Wendy Williams do?
I don't care.
We need to find this out.
No, true. Honestly, I don't think I could care.
Nah, man. I got respect for Wendy Williams because not only did she have a brain aneurysm or whatever on TV, she also coughed and farted.
Yeah.
At the same time?
Almost.
Really?
Almost. It was like boom, boom.
Yo.
Like,
how you doing?
Do you guys like to
Make sure
hear
you do
it?
it on private mode too.
Yeah.
Just be safe, everybody.
All right, let's listen up.
She's not lonely. I apologize.
Yo,
How
that's
is that?
amazing.
Like, I guess it's an accidental fart, so you didn't really like control the volume.
Wait,
But
wait,
like,
Nah, fuck that. That's a Mitch.
No, listening to it, that sounds like ADR.
You're right.
yeah, it sounded like some soundboard ass
Right.
burping fart or whatever.
She's not lonely.
I know what you mean.
I apologize.
Pre-recorded.
Yeah,
And
I
like,
got tagged in
Who
this.
knows,
like
though? The
accidental
body
farts might be
things.
loud, but like I don't think that's getting mic'd. You know,
Right.
the mic's up by your. I don't. You know.
Yeah, I don't think there's a mic by her. Yeah,
Asshole.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
might be one by the coach. Who knows?
That's just me.
You know, Wendy Williams, you faked that shit for some publicity? Because I respect
We
the
need
fuck
answers.
out of that. I like that self-deprivation shit.
Yeah.
No publicity. No, what is it? No such thing as bad publicity.
Wendy Williams,
Hey.
what's on your show?
Publicity?
Shout out Nick Kroll.
Shout out, dude.
That's a legend right there.
Oh, that's a legend.
Oh man, that's like one of the best.
Dude, his
that's one of
shit
my
on
favorite skits.
fucking Reno 911 is low key hilarious. I was watching that. I've been watching Reno 911 lately.
I need to watch some Marino.
He's like, it's the smallest little role, but he plays like a Mexican radio host.
Oh yeah, he's the radio dude. That's always loud as shit.
It's just ridiculous. Reno's underrated as a show, I think. That's one of my favorites.
That shit is a classic, and the fact that it's like pretty much all improv makes it even better.
Right.
Like, you know, that they're all like writers, so they probably met in a room and talked about the sketches and shit. But like,
I know you know this now because I found out the same way we listen to the same podcast. But you know, Tom Lennon wrote Night at the Museum.
Fuck. That's real. I
There's
had
one
no
of the
idea.
writers, or
no,
Him and one other dude.
yeah,
Like, it was just his idea, and he just...
him and one of
that doesn't surprise me that much.
I fuck with Ben Stiller.
You watch Severance on Apple Plus?
Do it. Of course I watch Severance. I've been fiending for season 2.
Right, dude. That's one of the best finales I've ever seen.
Yeah, literally, I'm like, dog, don't do that to me. Come on,
Right.
Give me 10 more right
They
now.
break out.
Right
They
now.
finally hit the jailbreak.
Yes. Yeah, y'all never seen
I'm
Severance?
lost.
Oh no, I've never seen that.
We
Lost.
have Apple Plus up here. You gotta check it
Ooh,
out.
Apple Plus, y'all fancy, y'all.
I'm about to say that's a flex. That's a rich.
Major flex.
Hey, have you ever heard 21 Savage's dad speak?
Is he British?
He
is British,
he
isn't
sound like a nigga straight out of Top Boy.
That's hard.
That
He's-
is
he's-
super fucking
He's like,
hard.
hold on. He's like,
With my cheese in it.
he's like, I loved him. I loved him. I raised the young youth. Best. I could have said something. I could have said something.
He's that
Is he
nice.
dead scum?
I could have said something. I could have said he illegal.
Say, hey, dude.
that
His cousin Stormzy.
Is that racist?
It's cultural appropriation. Yeah, like,
Yeah, but without by a long shot.
We're sorry to British people.
I guess.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I guess not really. They don't really
I don't
care.
give a fuck. Because they'll be like, Americans be like, and then just
Then we'll be like,
School
"Those motherfuckers
shooting."
eat beans for breakfast."
You can't be racist towards.
They do eat beans for breakfast. That's the
Facts.
craziest shit I've ever heard in my
You guys
life.
follow that football scran on? It's basically a Twitter account that shows stadium food from soccer stadiums all over the world.
I've seen it.
Yo,
I don't follow it, but I've seen it.
It's my favorite Twitter account. So if whoever runs that,
Zwayer,
shout
I
out
love
to
you,
that.
and I want the best for you. Never stop loving you.
It isn't
I never
bad.
stopped loving you from the time it was 7:36 on October
7:30.
the 22nd. That's exactly the day with time he was born.
Honestly, though, if you put him and Ellen John on
That's
the
the
same
day
thing
after
right
my
now, and they
birthday.
played them at the same time, I'd be like, are these the same person? But now, if I wasn't looking at them, I'd be like, are these the same people?
why they put that sad ass music behind it?
Because it's just
inspiring,
inspiring,
bro.
bro. He's trying to get some money.
He said, "I love you."
I love you.
He's just trying to get some paper, man. You can't fault him for
Oh,
that.
bloody hell,
What's the hardest accent?
Harry.
If you could have one accent, what would you want?
You said if I could have one accent, what would I want?
Yeah.
Chinese.
Shut the fuck up.
Is that an accent or is that a language? Like,
No, like an English accent.
Irish 100%.
Like I'm saying, like if you were
right?
from another country in
that's
America.
like weird.
I want to speak straight English, but with the cadence of a man from China.
Jesus.
Okay, I feel that. Yeah.
Because apparently y'all didn't understand what I was saying the first time.
I guess not.
I didn't.
You're doing Chinese accent speaking English.
He said, "What kind of accent?"
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And you said Chinese. It
Right.
was
Ni
just
hao,
The
motherfucker.
assumption is that the English is the language being spoken.
right.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Since I'm too good at this.
You are. But no, I think I'd pick Australian.
I feel that.
See, that's a racist continent.
Yeah, but I'm not racist.
Is an accent racist?
You tell me.
Like, I'm not saying.
You tell me, boy.
I'm gonna go Italian. The gabagool.
Yeah,
The gabagool.
I feel that a good New York Italian accent can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Irish.
I was about to say, I want to talk like a nigga from the Bronx.
That's fair.
What is that?
I don't know what that was. Damn.
R.I.P.
I guess
We'll be right back.
We weren't really using that one yet, but.
Mike, you had a story you wanted to tell?
Oh yeah, we can do that now if you want to.
Well, MLB history.
Yeah, baseball history.
Black history.
A lot. Yeah, civil rights history.
It's blackballed.
It is blackballed.
We're talking black balls here.
And this is a man that got blackballed.
It is a man that got blackballed. From
Should that be the new thing we do? We talk about someone who got blackballed?
Yeah,
like
good.
that.
I'm surprised
Wow.
we haven't thought about that already.
Maybe,
I'm kind of pissed that we
maybe
haven't.
we could have viewers if we were doing that.
We had a theme.
If we were a
These
little
things take
consistent.
Yeah,
And, you know,
yeah.
some shows take a couple seasons. So
that's true.
Hey.
You're right. We got to get our footing and whatnot. But yeah, man. So bear with me. I just took these notes today. I found out about this story
Niggas is
yesterday.
doing homework now, bro. I'm telling you, we different. We coming
Yeah.
different in
I got
2023.
notes. There's pages in this. It's a small notebook, but
saying.
I got hella pages.
It's 2023.
Real vibes.
So the name Curtis Floyd doesn't ring a bell to anybody? No, but I asked. I got Floyd.
No.
Curtis Floyd. Yeah,
Oh yeah, Cardinals.
yeah. I told you about.
Hey,
the
shut up,
story
nigga.
already. But
Tell the story.
so yeah, January 18th, 1938, Curtis Charles Floyd was born in Houston, Texas, to the parents of Laura Ricks and Herman Flood. Sorry, I said Floyd again. Flood. Curtis Flood. Curtis
See.
Charles Flood. I'm already fucking up.
I told him that.
But yeah, Laura Ricks and Herman Flood are the parents of this man. He was one of 6. He was sheltered though. Like they always had music lessons as a kid. They were a very artistic family. Their mom like always made sure that they were going to school and
Is
doing
that
all that stuff.
autistic family.
No, artistic family.
Okay. My bad.
But baseball
funny.
was always Kurt's shit. So
Ooh.
originally his family's from Louisiana. His mom was married to another man at the time. But so she's in Louisiana. She's out shopping at a store, just doing her thing.
Whoa.
This is in probably like 1930, 1920, late 20s. This white woman comes up to her in the store.
Oh hell no.
Yeah.
Aaron?
Probably Karen was her name, I would imagine. We can call her Karen. So Karen comes up. I'm not going to quote her, obviously, word for word.
You want me to say it?
Nah. She
Does he
said
have to say
I'm
it?
about to say
comes-
if you say you want me to say
she
it, we have a
would.
problem.
He would have to say it. Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
No. He said she comes up to him. Or
I'm not
sorry,
gonna make you do it.
she comes up to her and says, "Do you know where I can find me a N-word bitch to clean my house?" So Laura responds to her, "I don't know any N-word bitches to clean your house." So the white woman slaps her across the face,
Jesus Christ.
and then Laura started beating the shit out of her in the department store.
Respect.
She did 75 years in prison.
Whooped her ass. No, she had to leave Louisiana after that because she was gonna be lynched.
Oh yeah, that's back when you could just literally
Yeah.
you could shoot at somebody and just
So
be like,
she-
I'm gonna go to Texas now.
Literally.
Yeah, I just don't
So-
live here anymore.
So they fled the
free.
South. Yeah, literally. She fled the South, ended up in Houston. That's when Curtis was born, but they ended up settling in Oakland, like I said, that's where his childhood was at mainly. But yeah, crazy story. So that like honestly foreshadows a lot about his life and like what he was gonna do. Yeah. So growing up, like I said, baseball was his shit. He went to Oakland Technical High School. All his teammates knew that he was going. Like when they saw him at 14, when they saw him as a freshman, they were like, "This kid is outrageous." Yeah. So 1956, right out of high school, 18 years old, gets signed by the Cincinnati Reds, along with a few of his teammates because they were just as good. Yeah, they all got signed out of 18. Crazy. But that's the thing. Before they go to Cincy, they got to go to spring training in Tampa. So he flies to Florida. He's so excited. Gets to the hotel, presents himself. I'm Curt Flood, here to play for the Cincinnati Reds. The guy goes, "Oh, you're a minor league player, right?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm contracted minor league." So he leads him through the hotel to the back door of the hotel, hails a black cab for him, and sends him to the black side of Tampa where all the Reds talent that's black is staying. They don't get to stay with the team. They don't get any of the luxuries that were offered. They don't get none of that. So that was his first realization of like he was in a completely different area. He couldn't even change with his teammates. He had separate locker rooms, separate.
They didn't want to see his huge fucking wang.
They were probably intimidated. That's probably what it was. So yeah, like he had to clean, like it was a steel like lean-to built on the side of the clubhouse. That is where he had to change his shit and everything.
Like an addition.
Basically, he was like changing his uniform in his locker.
I would have got butt naked on like right at home plate.
So bro,
right there.
It's funny you say that actually. So between double headers, players got to get their uniform cleaned. Obviously, back then they're not wearing alternates and shit like that. Between double headers, after the game, they come in. Everybody's throwing their shit in the pile. You know, clubhouse is gonna clean it.
Dirty laundry.
Yeah. Curt takes his jersey off, throws it in the pile. And all you hear is someone yelling viciously, just screaming. A staffer for the club, like the uniform manager, grabs a pole with a nail in it and fishes this man's jersey out of the pile, fishes it out, grabs it, and takes it down to the other side of town to the black cleaners to clean it. Yeah.
Different.
Like that's how, that's the level. This was 1956, 1960. Or no, it was still 1956. His teammate, Bob Gibson, MLB Hall of Famer, Cardinal Hall of Famer. He's another black baseball player that was coming up in the same time. They, like I said, playing on the same team. But he said that wasn't something that you talked about. You experienced it all the time. But if you wanted to make it to the leagues, you just had to buck up and deal with it. During that minor league season, Curt got traded to the St. Louis Cardinals. It was after the season, my bad. And that's where he spent majority of his career. Even in St. Louis, when he got there, he realized that place wasn't even a good place as far as racially. His manager at the time, I forget who the dude's name was. I didn't even look. He told Curt that he wasn't going to be playing because he's black. He denied him the playing time. And the same manager just told him that he should quit and he's probably better off trying to find something else to do for a career.
It's like, nigga, I'm a professional baseball player.
Yeah. Crazy, dude.
Like, why'd you guys bring me here in the first place?
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck is this?
So 1958 to 1960, he kind of struggled. Then 1961, brand new manager comes in and Curt absolutely just fucking balls out. 308 batting average, 408 slugging. That'll only really mean anything to Taylor. Or I'm sorry, though. He was 322 in that 61 season. And then the next two seasons after that, he played just as good, if not even better. Over those three seasons, he had the 306 average and a 408 slugging. 64 was their first World Series. The next season after that, 7th World Series in Cardinals history. He led the league in hits during that 64 season.
Nice.
They played my Yankees in the World Series. Went to a 7-game series. That was the 14th World Series in 16 years for the Yankees to appear in.
God damn.
Yeah. That was like their like biggest dynasty. And then 1964, Game 7, Cardinals beat them. After that, they weren't in the World Series until 1976.
Reggie Jackson and them?
Yeah. So after 64, it was like
Reggie
The
Jackson
team
was
just
a
fell
gangster.
off. Yeah.
Oh, that dude was-
So that was a huge turning point in baseball because the Yankees were the biggest dynasty at the time.
Right.
And yeah, so it was just a wild World Series. Crazy that this man was doing this because at the same time, this is 6 years at the time after the color barrier was broken. Jackie Robinson, I think it was 1956.
Is that 50s? No shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. He was drafted 10 years after. So 1946 was when the color barrier was broken. 1962, before that, Jackie Robinson was this man's idol, obviously. He was a ball player that was black, going through the same troubles that Jackie did. And Jackie was the one who started all this shit. He's the reason that he could be in the position that he's in. Jackie invited black athletes to NAACP rally in Mississippi. Curt was one of them. A lot of people didn't think that he should do that because of where he was going into and what he had at stake with his career and things like that, because they knew the severity of what he was going into.
It's Jackie Robinson.
No, but like what he was stepping himself into was
Just that area.
a lot of
Shit,
danger.
Muhammad Ali had to retire.
Dude, the guy that held the rally, Medgar Evers, who's like a black activist, he was the first field secretary in NCAA college football. Yeah.
Get some eligibility.
So he's
on his 5th year of eligibility.
just as good as he was on the field, off the field, he was kind of like the picture perfect image of like what you want to be as a successful like athlete. He had a family, young wife, 4 kids, another one on the way. After the 64 World Series, he's like, all right, I get my bag. I'm going to go back to the Bay. I'm going to move in a suburb, Alamo City in California, just outside of San Francisco, I
Bay
think.
Area.
Pretty close to where he grew up. So yeah, as soon as he got the lease and the leaser found out that they were African American, he threatened to hold the house hostage at gunpoint.
Jesus.
Yeah, so immediately the fight for freedom that he was just talking about at the conference at NAACP in Mississippi is in fucking California, right at his doorstep and shit. Like, he sues.
Being a pro athlete and your landlord being like,
literally, bro.
fuck out of my house.
Absolutely, bro.
I'd be like, dude, I
have a lot of money.
I got money.
I'm a pro fucking athlete.
Literally, dude. And literally one of the
And
quotes
put the gun down, you idiot.
Man.
It's crazy, man. So he sues for right to his own home that he bought with the money that he's earned. Wins the court, obviously, or wins the court appeal. Gets a court order, armed police escort into the house. They search the entire things for bombs. They literally move him in like on live TV. It's like a huge.
Must have been a nice ass house. Eh?
Yeah, like if he's.
Dude, he's gotta have. He probably had to have security just around his house at all times.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy that you would think you'd have to go through that. It's wild. Yeah, his kids didn't have it easy, and him and his wife didn't have it easy either. Literally, like a couple months after they moved in to that house, him and his wife split up, and he moved away. Probably to St. Louis. I didn't see where he moved to actually.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, like his kids were in the documentary that I saw too, and they were saying that he kind of was never there anyway. Because like at the time you got to think like travel isn't as easy as it is now. Like you can't just go fly and see your kids.
I think it was a thought, huh?
Shit. Yeah,
he was thought.
So yeah, he was an athlete. He was an athlete in the mid '60s.
Populating the earth. It's all good.
Yeah. So he was balling a little bit. Incredibly self-motivated when it came to baseball and achieving anything, honestly. He was just an overachiever in general. Always gave like 110%. Bob Gibson said watching him catching a ball in center field was like watching pretty girls go by. The next one was always better than the last one.
That's a bar.
Yeah. And he's got a highlight in Wrigley.
It's also a little sus.
Yeah, a little sus.
It's all right, though.
He's got a highlight in Wrigley, which they have like the brick outfield wall with ivy on it. It's not like a cushioned. Yeah, it's even back then it was like that. And he's one of the first players to like rob a ball off the wall. And there's a really dope picture. I don't know if there's a video of it, but
at
he was
5'9",
like,
he was jumping up at
yeah,
Wrigley.
bro. He was the clip or the picture is fucking crazy.
It's like an iconic MLB photo.
Yeah, and
I heard the story too. I was like, dang girl.
He was like the Renaissance man before that was a term, kind of like he was just doing all this shit. A player said that he brought a ukulele with him to spring training and taught himself how to play ukulele.
Nerd.
Yeah, he always because I mean like his mom always had him in music lessons and shit. 1966 he started dating Judy Pace.
Ooh,
Yeah, so she's
I don't know. She sound bad though.
she was pretty bad. She was an actress and model, like blaxploitation actress mainly is where
I'm about to say I know you want a white bitch.
Yeah, no, she was saying in
Imagine if he was fucking, he started fucking a white.
This whole time.
Hey, let love be
This
love,
whole
baby.
time.
Let love be love.
So yeah, 1966 they start dating, and it's like what like it would be now, like a social media couple like blowing up, like
Yo, Jay-Z and Beyonce.
yeah, some shit like that. Like they would cause like pandemonium at like
Kanye and Kim.
yeah, some shit like that basically. And he really started to ball out in 66. Like that's when he like
That's when he was like, I'm him.
yeah, like
So he
before
started
that
acting like Drake.
he was like career numbers, he was already like blowing up. He was already like doing crazy shit like on the field that
Like,
like
you talking about he was like balling like statistically.
yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant he was.
No.
Get to the part where he started cheating.
Stop it, bro. So he does start to do that in 66 too.
All right, we getting there.
He gets a penthouse, he gets a caddy, he's got a
He sound like me on GTA.
yeah,
Cadillac, like a golf.
a Cadillac.
What did you look like?
Like Taylor on GTA. He had a closet full of clothes, jewelry. He had artwork all over the shit. Like
If I don't got it in real life, I got it on GTA, my nigga.
and
I mean, just as good.
So quit hating.
Yep.
so I think I forgot to write 66 they won the world. So Judy also said in the documentary she wasn't his only girlfriend. And it was
bottom bitch.
yeah, she was mobbing with it. Like, you know, he was just doing his thing. He was an athlete in the 60s. He was just getting his, you know?
Get your bag, girl. Get your bag.
Yeah.
He got money, he got bitches, he
All
got
that.
cars, clothes,
Man.
jewelry, motherfucking watches, and all types of Rolexes and fucking
got
ocean
activists in the
perpetuals.
That's what I
It's
like.
fucking
Exactly,
got good
bro.
ass weed and shit. No.
He's doing it on both sides. He's doing it on both sides.
Flex.
But so 67, his roommate Bob Gibson wins
He
the
popping
MVP.
bottles in the club.
He,
His roommate is an MVP.
he balls out.
For coats.
So
He in all the music
they make
videos.
it back. Stop it.
Damn.
All right, I'm done.
Fucking
Saying
God.
such a cinch.
So 67 they win that shit. 68 they make it back to the World Series, back to back. They're playing the Tigers, pretty good team at the time too.
Shout out to Tigers.
You know what happened in 68?
MLK got shot.
Is that true? I don't know. I should know that.
That might have been 69.
We landed on the moon.
I don't know. No, 68.
No, Land on the Moon is 69. I know that from Even Stevens.
You're right.
I was
We went to the moon in 1969.
Yes, thank you. Not 1968,
No,
but the year after.
After.
She totally failed that project.
Gibson's on the mound, his roommate, looking for his third win in the World Series. That series,
Again?
like yeah, same thing he did like their first one. Game 7, 2 on, 2 out, bottom of the 7th inning, tied 0-0. Tigers are up at the plate.
Who hits it?
Jim Northrup's up at the plate right now. He's a Tigers player. He's like famed in Tigers lore. Really good player.
From this event.
His career was great.
Yeah.
But this event had a lot to play with into it too. He's a center fielder too. Hits a line drive to center field. Blazing line drive. Rocket. Flood misjudges it. Runs in a little bit. Tries to readjust. Stumbles on the outfield grass. Slips. Goes over his head. 2-run score.
Always take your first steps back.
Same thing happened to Northrop earlier in the game. Because literally the night before, it was like a torrential downpour. And obviously the grounds aren't going to be as good as they are now. So everybody was playing with the same shit. It's just bad timing. Shit happens. It was just like crazy because he's a 7-time Gold Glover. At the time, he was like
He
6.
killed himself?
No, didn't kill himself.
Okay.
Well, that's good.
So secretly, like I said, this man was just fucking, it was just on a loop in his head all the time, constantly, because he was the best center fielder in the league. Like, he knows he should have been there. Like, he let everybody down.
We got to get back here.
Basically, yeah. But his wife at the time, Judy, said that this basically started the dismantling of everything that he had at the time going for him. Bob Gibson, his teammate.
That bitch lying. No, I'm lying.
Bob Gibson, his teammate, roommate, like I said, he would just chain smoke cigarettes all night on the edge of his bed. Just fucking packs. Yeah. And just, he was a person with something on his mind, but it's nothing that he wanted to talk about. Like, he would ask him. Absolutely tore him apart. Yeah. Bob would ask him what's going on, would never find out. Bob, he would never ask him. After 68, the World Series, off season in the winter, he's just kind of struggling with it. Stopped paying his alimony and child support to his ex-wife.
Like a real ass nigga.
69.
Respect.
69, right after the next year, when she's not getting the money, she says, okay, I'm filing another lawsuit. Guess what? He don't have none of that money because he spent it all. He's got nothing, absolutely nothing. Taxes. He probably owns a
real ass nigga.
Yeah, so he was balling regardless.
Fuck them kids.
So he didn't have shit to pay it. He didn't know where to turn. He turns to the Cardinals because they're his lifeline. Like, they've basically done everything for him. He demands $100,000 contract this season because back then they didn't really do contracts like they do now. It was kind of like a year-to-year basis. We'll talk more about that later. So 69, he's like, I need $100,000 or I'm not coming to spring training. But Gussie Busch, the owner. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. He was also kind of doing it out of like, listen, like, we've done a lot for each other. But Gussie, being the manager or the owner, and like being the type of person that an owner is, very displeased with how the World Series turned out. Blamed it a lot on Curt, but was still kind of, like, you're my boy. He gave him the money.
Nice.
Got the money, $100,000. He paid his child support, whatever he owed.
It's for the boys.
Few weeks later, his brother, Carl, was out of jail in LA, moved in with Curt because Curt was trying to get him on the right track, So 69, he moves him in, gets him a job at his association, or Curt Flood Associates. He's doing pretty good. He's got a job there. I don't know what he was doing exactly. Like you were asking if he was smoking that shit. Now he's smoking that shit. I don't know if he was doing it as a teen.
Like a real ass nigga.
No, Carl. His older brother, Carl, was smoking that rock.
Oh, wait, Curt wasn't smoking?
No, Curt was not smoking. Sorry, that was, I misspoke.
Pussy ass.
Yeah, what was that time?
So he sticks up with a few other guys, Schwartz Jewelry in St. Louis, at gunpoint. Almost the entire thing's caught on tape.
Carl?
Yeah, Carl. Gussie Busch, not happy.
Gussie.
Calls Curt up.
Bussy Gush.
So Mr. Busch, the owner, calls up Curt, and all Curt can hear is just screaming on the other end of the phone. You are ruining the organization. Who the fuck is this guy? You're ruining the name of the Cardinals. Curt
just gave you $100K.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. But Curt is like, this is not my fault. I was doing the right thing with my brother. Like, you would have done the same thing in my shoes, kind of thing. Just like he's hurt that Mr. Busch was feeling this way about him after doing all this shit for each other for so long.
Intent only matters so much.
Yep, exactly. So Mudcat Grant, Cardinals legend. He's a pretty good ML, or I don't know if he's a Cardinals legend. He played for a little bit, but he was a really well-known MLB player. He rode to the park with Curt every day. Eventually, Curt's parking spot wasn't there anymore. So he started to say every day, they're going to get rid of me. Like, they're going to do something with me. And Mudcat's like, no, they're not. No, they're not. Like, your teammates are trying to talk him out of it. But Curt, basically, he says, I don't care. I don't care at all. I'm not going. I don't care where you send me. I'm not going. That's just not what I'm going to do. So October 7th, 1969, after the season's over, he receives a call, just like a middle manager, some random guy from the front office that like doesn't do shit. All he says is, you've been traded to the Philadelphia Phillies with a few other players. I'm very sorry this has happened, and hangs up.
And he Jordan Belfort on him.
I'm not fucking leaving.
One of the quotes that one of the players said, it was Bob Gibson, You were literally their property. They could do whatever they wanted to do with you if they wanted to. They could send you anywhere they wanted. Players were traded.
Unless another team was willing to come in and pay you.
No. You weren't even allowed to negotiate. If you signed a contract with that team, and
But what could another team do to try to bring you in?
you'd have to get traded.
Right.
But it wasn't negotiated like that because the owners owned their players, and if it didn't benefit them, they weren't going to trade the player.
Right.
So they weren't going to get, if they weren't going to get anything for the guy that they were trying to trade, they were just going to let him sit and rot on the bench or pay a minimum.
Yeah. So your only option is to be part of a good trade. If not,
No, they weren't. That wouldn't have been the option. Like I guess if it would have been on the table, but
exactly.
So he probably should have took the trade when he got traded to Philly, basically.
Right.
So
This is only
players were traded at will, like I said, like their property, sold for cash even. Like they still do that now, but it's totally different. It's like contract, exactly. So their property. Basically, the only difference that the players said between a ball player and literally a slave is that a baseball player could quit, but he would never be able to play baseball again or be a part of the MLB ever. Marvin Miller was the Players Association president at the time. He was like really trying to change how contracts were negotiated and things like that. They made the players feel privileged. Like, you can't get a job for $100,000 anywhere else. Like, at the time, Curt was always like, I'm not anybody's fucking property. So he called up Marvin Miller because he knew he's a Players Association president. He knew he was doing this shit. And they wanted to file an antitrust lawsuit against the MLB. Basically, their only option. Marvin, the entire time, just literally tried to convince him that he was making the wrong decision. He's not going to see the benefit of what this free agent shit is going to give to him.
Moses, dude.
Literally.
See the kingdom. No,
he can't.
He's Moses.
So he was telling him all this shit, and Marvin said it basically didn't matter what I was telling this guy. He didn't give a fuck. He wanted to do something about this. And he could tell that Curt was a man of principle, and he was standing on that. And after he agreed to do it, Marvin literally ended it with, "You're the answer to my prayers. You're exactly what I've been looking for among the players." Like
Moses.
Yeah.
Moses.
He told the Players Association what he was doing, like the players board, like the active players that are on it, and they were not fucking with it. Nobody. They were trying to get their paychecks, man. Like, they did not want to damage anything that they had going on.
They weren't crossing the line.
Yeah.
Right.
His teammate Bob Gibson said, "Was I behind Curt? Absolutely." He's another black man. I don't know if I mentioned that. So he said, "Was I behind him? Absolutely. But I'm just about 10 steps back just in case anything goes crazy, because I don't want anything to happen to me." So yeah, Curt knew that this was not an antitrust case. He knew that this was a civil rights case that he was going into. And it was a lot more than baseball at stake. And it was a lot more than just people getting paychecks. Players around the league even grew more isolated from him. Nobody was fucking with him, but he was getting support from former owners and also Hall of Fame legends that were in the front office. And then Jackie Robinson also was there to support him and testified on behalf. But while that was happening, another lawsuit from his ex-wife, he had the IRS coming after him from all the prior alimony trials and shit like that. So the trial ends. It ended up going to the Supreme Court, but after it ends, this man flees to Denmark.
On some Dave Chappelle shit.
Doesn't tell his family, doesn't tell his kids, doesn't tell his girlfriend Judy. But he had a great time
in Denmark.
Yeah. He found...
Was he over there fucking?
Yeah. He found a woman. Yeah. And, lived a good life. He was loving the shit. He was just kind of free and, didn't really have to worry about any of the problems that he was dealing with. But the IRS caught up eventually. More trials. But owing all that money, he got a bailout from the game of baseball, and the worst team in the league, the Washington Senators, offered him a contract for $100,000. He did not want to be playing for that team, but he knew he had to. But his teammates realized that this man was ass. 2 years off, 2.5 was way too much, and he lost a big step, and he also just couldn't concentrate on baseball. He had all this shit going on, alcohol probably.
He was smoking that shit.
No, alcohol. He was mentally
okay.
And just still had a lot of demons going.
If I find out that he was smoking that shit,
he was never on that shit. I promise. This man gets benched after 2 weeks from the Washington on the worst team in baseball. This man gets benched because he's so bad. April 27th, 18 games into the season, they have a game in Minnesota. The team shows up. Curt is not there because his teammates said they get called into the locker room to get read this telegram. So this is all one sentence. It's there's no punctuation or whatever. But he says, "I tried. 1.5 years is too much. Very serious personal problems mounting every day. Thanks for your confidence and understanding. Flood." That's all the message said that he sent to the team.
No punctuation.
No, it was just one sentence.
It was on that Cam Newton.
Nah, it's letters. It's English. But
what if he sent it in Cam Newton font?
So this man just dips again. He goes to Spain this time. He gets another lawsuit from his ex. They basically tell him you should go bankrupt. He finds this woman again. He meets this woman. They buy a bar together. And he owns it now.
That's not what he should do.
He becomes a patron / owner / server / basically he just lives in this bitch and is just like chilling. So while this is happening in Spain, while he's in Spain, the case actually makes it to the Supreme Court. And this,
he's like, damn, I forgot all about that.
Yeah. So this lawyer, the Supreme Court judge, Goldberg, is like the head of it now.
I'm not gonna say what he is.
So
Kanye.
So, he absolutely fucking just bombs. He does a terrible job. There's like recordings of it, and this man is like stumbling over his words and shit, and like it's bad. Like I don't know, like it's hard to understand low key, but he does a bad job. He was not fit to stand trial for the case either. The girl that he's seeing at the time eventually stops seeing him altogether. No, like she can't find him.
Oh.
Not that, yeah. Like he just stopped showing up. So the Spanish police shut down the bar that he's owned, and he flees to Andorra, which is a country near Spain.
Avatar.
So there, the police catch him trying to steal from a store in Andorra, like in the mountains. And they break his arm and throw him in jail. Eventually, he's like mentally just unstable.
Did they like try to break his arm?
Yeah. That's probably like a thing that they do when you steal over there. I don't know. Islands are different and stuff. So
come here.
Eventually, he ends up in a psych hospital in Barcelona. Psychiatric. And he expresses that he wants to go home. Like he needs to be back in America. That's where he's gonna feel comfortable. His sister,
nigga, don't you got charges over there?
His sister sends money to get him back to Oakland to stay with her. While he's staying there, he meets a woman that works with his sister, who's also a welfare agent.
His dick just keep getting hard.
This is a
I don't feel bad for this nigga. This nigga deserves everything that deserved to happen to him, besides the racism.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to be blackballed, but I don't see how he was blackballed. Outside of the racism, I mean, shit, that was the time you lived in. Not everybody could be Jackie Robinson. That's why Jackie Robinson is Jackie Robinson. That's why you Curtis Flood, because you couldn't avoid the adversity.
No, we get in there. Okay, so he gets sent back to Oakland. He meets this woman. She's a welfare agent. She realizes a broken case when she sees one because she works with him. So she takes him in. Eventually, they start dating. Yes, but she thinks that he tried to kill himself because that's when she found him.
So do I.
Yeah, so that's when she found him, is when he fell off the roof because he was drunk. But she thinks he was trying to kill himself. Knew he needed help, whatever. So
What was he doing on the goddamn roof?
He was trying to kill himself. Okay, so fast forward just a little bit, 1975, right? So this whole time, like I forgot to mention, after this case keeps getting denied, Curt basically, he's like, if I was white, this shit would have gone through on the first try. Like, that's what he's telling Marvin this whole time. And Marvin's like, you're not. It's crazy.
I know you're not white.
So basically, that's exactly what was happening. So in 1975, these two players, Andy Messersmith and Dave McNally, if you can guess what race they were.
I don't know, Indian.
No, they were a couple of Caucasian men.
You say Messersmith?
Messersmith.
I mean, same thing.
Yeah. So they after, so like I said, they have that clause. If you don't agree, they can sign you on the terms
Minimum
of the yeah. But these guys don't sign that contract, so they play the entire season without a contract. And after that season, they take it to the Supreme Court and get an arbitrator to look at it, and the arbiter decides that they've given the team all that is required by the contract that they signed, thus making them free agents. So this is literally 6 years after Curt brought the case to the Supreme Court initially that this finally gets broken. So teams after 1975, teams now have to wait for players, or so they can offer contracts, but players can field from every team. So after this, like this is 6 years later, Curt is in Oakland. He's recovering from like his whole island binge or whatever. He's telling teams that like my services are available. I
don't want this washed up ass.
No, not as a player. Like he still has baseball knowledge. Like he knows.
I don't want to run my team. He makes bad decisions.
No.
Why would I want him in my front office?
He hasn't made any bad decisions.
He on the roof, Mike.
Yeah, this is after he's been completely ostracized.
I don't want him around my young men.
Oh,
what type of leader of men is this?
You are completely missing it. So this man writes to the teams and basically offering his services in any way possible. Nobody obviously hires him. A friend buys the Oakland Athletics, a stake in the Oakland Athletics. Eventually, he becomes an announcer for the team in the booth, speaking on the game from the commentary standpoint. Sorry,
I guess there's no harm done there.
He was booty, huh?
Yeah, so it was clear that he mentally was still fogged from like the things that was going on in his life. He couldn't, he was still drinking constantly, but he wasn't slurring his speech. He was just, it took him a second to figure out what he wanted to say, but then he was very eloquent.
I was like, he was just Tony Romo.
Yeah, so he was just like, it took him a second, but it would come out. So after that, like it didn't work out. I think he made it a season. So he begins painting again. He finds his brush stroke, right?
What they call him, Basquiat? No, Rembrandt.
In this documentary, though, there was conflicting stories and sort of back and forths. People that were close to Curt at this stage said that these paintings were done by somebody else and signed by Curt.
I believe it. He seemed like a cheap con man.
So yeah, so there's rumors whether or not he was doing these paintings all along for all these people, but you'd like to think that he was that kind of guy. I don't know. It's interesting.
I disagree.
That part of the story was really wild.
I love how Dia is so against this.
I know, man.
So you telling me a man that's mentally caught and can't think is gonna sit and have the patience to paint? Yeah. Nah, he gonna sign his name.
Yeah, that's how you can clear your head.
No, he's gonna sign his name and let somebody else do it.
Okay. No, yeah. I mean, at this point, I think that he was doing it, like that he was getting the fraudulent paintings later on.
Yeah, brother Curt.
because he was kind of struggling.
I believe in you.
But I think he might have been doing it back in the day because he had all these lessons as a kid and shit. Whatever. So, while this is happening, the paintings obviously don't work out because of the fraud and shit. While this is happening, the free agent market in the MLB is like exactly what Curt had envisioned. Like, people are getting signed for millions a year. Like, Reggie Jackson's getting like $6 million a year from the Yankees. Like, just all these players, and this dude is not getting jack shit for that. Like, he kind of understood that going in, but he felt like the victim. Like, he didn't feel like the hero, like giving all these players the opportunity. Yeah, but he felt like he was the one that he thought the players would thank him for this, but that nobody was really like giving him any props for what.
Not in the league.
But he's the whole reason that they have this opportunity.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he maybe should have started smoking that shit. The way his life is going.
So he might as well have been. He wasn't really raising
Smoking
his kids.
shit.
Yeah, he wasn't raising his kids at all.
I mean, shit, you might. Yeah,
He might as well.
You're not raising your kids, and you a grown ass man.
So that's
might as well be smoking.
That's what people were saying. Like, his biggest loss was
his kids.
Like, yeah, he didn't get their childhood at all.
Nah, fuck them kids.
So alcohol ruined his memory completely. Like, he would go, like, after this, he did have some interviews, like, to speak on his case and shit like that. But he was clearly, like, couldn't remember the shit that was just going on. Because, like, a couple years ago, because of the alcohol and shit, he wasn't really, he couldn't recall the case and things like that. But the MLB pension he was finally getting now for being in the league for so long. He played for 12 years. Or 10, I guess, cumulatively. So he left the woman that was...
Not a bad decision.
That was helping him with the welfare.
Yeah, you leave the woman that take a broken down.
That was his first white woman that he got into a relationship with at that point too. Her name was Karen, which was pretty funny.
You looking at me?
I was just talking.
So do you believe he was blackballed?
Yes. What, bro? We're getting to that. I mean, he couldn't get an offer from any teams. Like, he couldn't.
What you mean? He was a drunk. He couldn't remember shit.
Most of them were drunks, though.
Yeah. So he leaves.
Take care of his. I'm sorry.
Them niggas ain't take care of their kids either.
Unless his talent outspoke like that. You say he was washed when he went overseas. He couldn't hit shit. Why am I going to pay for somebody where your latest work was ass and you can't stay clean?
He got his whole life taken away from him by another team. That's why
You a Negro back then. You just an example. I'm sorry. That's how they had to do black people. You had to make an example out of one person for the benefit of everybody else. And that's where it sounds like he was blackballed, maybe. He was made an example out of.
I thought she was on the right side.
I can't. He's a terrible decision maker.
So he leaves that white woman.
I wouldn't hire this nigga at Amazon.
He leaves that white woman. 1985, now he reconnects with Judy, his old girlfriend. And really, this kind of saved his life. They got back together, but she told him, "We're not getting married unless you get healthy and your addiction is stopped." So he stops drinking.
A black woman.
Yeah, this is the blaxploitation actress.
So wait, you're telling me a woman didn't want to take a chance on him, or did if he would get clean?
This is the original.
No, this is the woman that he was dating.
The one he was, but now she's coming back around a second time.
Mm-hmm.
So why should any multi-million-dollar business give him a contract if a woman won't even give her love for free? You think an organization should just hand out millions?
That's crazy. But so that is what I'm trying to say. This woman saved his life, got him clean.
I'm not lying.
Got him clean, and guess what? He became the commissioner of the Senior Baseball League, an MLB affiliated organization.
Has he got dementia? He can't remember shit?
No, because he was drunk.
I'm saying that's why I would put him ahead of the Senior Baseball League, because seniors can't remember shit. Anything I'm gonna tell them, they gonna eat it up.
So the NAACP gives the first ever Jackie Robinson Sports Award to Curt Flood for what he did for the rights of baseball players.
He deserved that. I told you he had to be made an example. Didn't I say you had to be made an example out of?
So in 1994, the biggest strike in North American sports. What
year?
1994. I'm pretty sure it was the biggest biggest strike in like North American sports history, or the longest. The MLB players went on strike for labor negotiations. And this is literally 25 years later, after like Curt brought this case to the forefront, like for the players to get paid what they should. 25 years later, now he's like advising these players in their strike for labor negotiations. So he really, all he wanted was like his recognition for what he did for others to have the opportunity to do, you know. That's all he really wanted.
Was you gonna say he was chasing Claude?
So literally right after this happened, like during the season in 1995, after the strike ended, he fell ill, started to like get a cough, went to the hospital, found out he had throat cancer.
I thought he had that easy.
I'm weak. So no, he had throat cancer from all the alcohol and smoking. Had to get his larynx, and his esophagus removed.
Both of them?
Both of them.
How was he eating?
Exactly. This motherfucker, he died eventually.
Out the butt?
So he had to get all that shit removed, but the MLB Players Association offered to pay every medical expense for his family and all the funeral when it happened.
It's decent, though.
That's pretty cool. It just sucks that it was like literally on the death, like the doorstep of death, that he got like the, you know, like the recognition from the MLB, you know.
Life's a bitch and then you die.
Facts. So literally 2 days after his birthday, January 20th, 1997. So
is he inducted into the Hall of Fame?
That's a good question. He's in the Cardinals Hall of Fame, I'm pretty sure, but I don't think he's in the MLB Hall of Fame. He's definitely got his own like shit in there for sure. Just with like how labor. I was talking to Taylor when you were in the bathroom. Like, it's crazy. This is like when he did this shit. This is 50, 60 years ago, and like to see the landscape of how like players are the talking point instead of like the teams being like, you're gracious to have, or like it's an opportunity to have this, like players hold the keys now at this point. So it's just crazy. Not only that, and just like,
and like now you can have sex with white women like freely.
Yeah.
Oh, the consent shit.
Yeah. But yeah, I just thought that was a super dope story, civil rights wise, and just like life wise, like standing up for what you believe in, like when you know something's right and you know what you should be doing for that, or for like the betterment of others, and believing in that and never giving up. Like, this motherfucker escaped that shit and it was still going on while he wasn't, you know, like it was something that he started and was like, I'm not dealing with that shit no more. And it eventually, you know, but it's a pretty good life lesson, I guess.
I learned everything to do from his mistakes. I'm not gonna mess with multiple women. I'm not going to the Dominican and splurging. I'm not about to get into alcoholism. I'm sure as hell not to be about to be on my roof dancing. I ain't never been standing on top of a roof as a grown man. I ain't about to write no suicide notes. I hope I would be recognized towards the later of my life for some shit I accomplished. But man, like I said, I'm glad he got recognized.
You gonna get that BET Lifetime Achievement Award?
Yeah, that's what I need. I'm glad he got recognized, but I think every organization was right to say, no, we do not want your services. Look at you. You're a mess. These women that want you, they recognize you broken. We are a straight organization. We ain't got time to repair no broken man.
So he was
in front office? You're supposed to help us. How are we supposed to help you? I gotta send you to therapy? I'm sorry. I do think, because I've dealt with some broken people in my life, and their past sometimes shapes their current. So I think with the racism he went through, you know, I didn't go through that type of racism, but I'm sure it made a real impact on his life. But I don't think he made some of the best choices dealing with the stress of that racism. And I think he cost himself his career, his playing career at least.
I mean,
sound like he was great, but you know, almost seemed like a Len Bias, except for he wasn't on that shit. You know, Len Bias was
Yep, we know.
Yeah. You know, like it's a great player, man. Like I said, good for him for being the pathway for these all men of all color to be able to get to this bag.
I'm glad that you feel that way.
I got some takeaways from it. I maybe I did miss a good portion, but I got some good takeaways. I always love a man that paves the way for the next man to get it. So when you were mentioning that he was leading the labor negotiations, hell yeah, that's who I want. A bitter man who missed out on his paycheck. Yeah, that's exactly who the hell I want leading the way. You missed out on the times, buddy.
Man. Yeah. That's Curt Flood, man.
Yeah, shout out to Curt Flood. And thank you for watching
Black
Ball.
Black ass ball ass.